And so we decided, well, let's head for the 2,000 cottages. Of course, there weren't 2,000, but it was a good advertising thing. So we headed for there, and we ended up at, right across from where Winn-Dixie is now. And the man, Mr. Anderson, who owned it, had built it in 1946. We, of course, loved it. Each year, Les would go with a real estate man, and he said, when I'm 60, I'm going to move here. And I said, well, you're only 30-ish now. Why don't we just move now? You know, if somebody can love it for 5 years. So he said, would you? And I said, sure. So down we came. We stayed with Mr. Anderson, who told us when we said we're going to build a motel, he said, don't go any further south than such and such a place. I don't remember the name of the place, because the traffic is going to come from the north. And what do you know, by doing that, we were right in what was Daytona Beach Shores downtown, although there was no shores then. But we found out as we lived here that there was no sewers. And twice a year, Mr. Godow would come with his honey wagon and empty our septic tanks. People who didn't do it twice a year were in trouble on the 4th of July. So that's how we took care of things like that. And because it had the 2,000 Cottage Association people, we worked with them. They were a wonderful group of small motel owners. And they were really the cell out of which we took the people who would form the present-day Daytona Beach Shores. We didn't want to become the Shores. We wanted to be annexed onto Daytona Beach proper. We didn't want to be Daytona Beach Shores. They said, no, unless you take on our debt and pay it. Get a fire department and get a police department, and we won't help you. They didn't want to be bothered with us. Mr. McElroy from Belmead said, I will donate the land, but whatever you build on it, if it ever is used for anything except a city hall, I want it back. That was all legal, because I think it was just a little one-story city hall. Well, I'll tell you, the group of men who really worked gave, like I tell you, Lou Hensler and my husband and other people gave, so that because there was no salaries, there was no pensions, there was health insurance, none of those things that it grew into. Okay. But of course it had to grow into that, because otherwise people wouldn't give. Okay. we decided to build a town, and we went door to door, knocking on the doors of the people who were here, who were all motel and business people, and asked them if they thought, because of the lack of tourism, we could increase it by becoming a town and get together in the advertising. And the scrapbook that I showed you shows you how many people voted. And because Les got the most votes, he was elected chairman of the first city council. The Bill Rankin was elected as mayor, but he didn't have to do anything. He didn't vote on the council. He didn't even sit up with the council. He sat in the audience. And years later, I heard, by the way, he was a wonderful young man at that time. And he and his wife worked very hard, not only to form our town, but also to start the Presbyterian Church. So everybody was it was a giving group of people. we had the chief of police and one other. And Les was, after we formed that police department, Les had a meeting with them and told them, now you have to remember the people have not been used to paying attention to the speed limits. So you do not give out tickets. You will give a warning. He sat outside the motel, and they never went by, and they never went by, and they never went. So finally, about dark, he went downtown. He went down on the beach, and here those two men were still on duty, talking to the people in the cars and giving tickets. It was a very personal, wonderful time in the lives of our people, not only for the people who had started the town, but for the people who had been coming for years and years, who were all like cousins. Les has been gone a long time, and he took the dancing and the laughter and the music with him.